Today we're going to be playing Green Blue Rosinante. This deck list is the most toxic deck in One Piece, and yes, I pair it with a Nell. This deck literally just spams out low-cost bodies that your opponent can't remove because you are a blocker leader, so you just save these little chump bodies that have really annoying effects like Sugar here, which just rests any character when they play a character, so that's going to be so strong. And on play rests a 4-cost or lower. We took inspiration from this YouTube video right here, from this content creator right here, and we made our own options for EB02. Their video's in OP11, so if you want to check that out, it is linked below. In the EB02 format, we are going to be using the Fishman Pirates Vanderdecken strategy. Let's get to the deck profile and explain more about it. And here is our Green Blue Rosinante leader. It is a blocker, and then if you have 6 or less cards, set this leader as active. So you can swing in. If you have 6 or less, you just restand it so you have your blocker ability. Now, this deck is just straight toxic. Use Captain Kid, one of the most annoying cards in the game. If you don't know what this does, just read it now because this, I don't have to explain. I don't have to explain this card, but Sugar I might. As I said, if your leader is a Rosinante Pirates type, rests up to one of your opponent's characters on your opponent's turn once per turn when they play a character. That's so annoying because you can play a 10-cost character with Rush, and then I just rest it down. You can swing in for 5 with your leader, do all that, and then I'm just chilling. And then we have the Rosinante. You know what this does. I don't have to explain this either. The Baby 5, again, pause these if you don't know them, as I will explain the Fishman Pirates type, but I won't be explaining all the Don Quixote Pirates type because it's a lot more played. We have Kami, which searches the top 4 cards for a Fishman or Merfolk just to keep consistency in the deck. We have the Zeo, which is just a 2k counter in the deck, and it's Fishman Pirate type searchable. So we play it literally just for the Kami, honestly, 100%, as well as the Hammond. We're playing this just because of the Kami as well, to have more searchable options in the deck and more options for our Vanderdecken. Now, this is just a chump blocker, but Vanderdecken is so much more. You may trash a Fishman Pirate type character or a Noah's Ark from your hand or field, go up to one of your opponent's rested characters. Any character in the game, just for discarding a card, is crazy. Now, it does obviously have to be rested, but you pair this with Sugar, so now you drop a 10-drop, I rest it down, and then I play Vanderdecken. And Vanderdecken is easy to spam out just due to our Rosinante, the new EB02 Rosinante we're about to go over in just a moment. Now, you do obviously run Hody Jones, as it is searchable in the deck. I think 4 of this card. As we've already played the games, I think this card as a 4 of would be so much better, so we may switch the numbers around a little bit more in the future. We're also running 4 of the Jinbei. This is another searchable 2k counter that just says rest one of your opponent's 1-cost or less characters. Now, it's not really there to play out on the board except for the 4-5 effect, not for the on play, but it's also a searchable 2k counter. We're also running the new EB02 Don Quixote Rosinante, which is the card that makes this deck so playable and so good. You may rest one of your Don cards. If your leader is Don Quixote Rosinante, look at the top 5 cards and play a 2-cost or lower character. Now, the fun thing with this is, so for 3 Don, you can continue to use this thanks to your leader ability, being able to block out and then continue to save this character. So you can keep putting out Sugar, Vanderdecken, Rosinante, Baby 5, Kami, Zaya, Hammond. I mean, there's so many amazing options in the deck you can spam out with this Rosinante. That's why it's just so much fun. To go into our last character in the deck, it is Namuel. I think Namuel is a good option, but I think this is definitely replaceable. Maybe making this the 2 and the Hody Jones the 4, just for consistency's sake of finding the Hody Jones, just because it is one of our only boss monsters, being this and the Useless Captain Kid. You know what Hody Jones does, though. That's another one you'll just have to pause and read. Namuel, draw 2, then return 2 cards from your hand to the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So it helps us kind of find certain targets we need, though, and you can cheat it out with the secondary effect of Useless Captain Kid to really stay alive. Now, I will say I wish Useless Captain Kid was searchable. That's my only issue with the deck, but that's why we are running it as a 4-0. We are running Overheat, which says your opponent or up to one of your leaders gains, or one of your leader or your character gains plus 4,000 power for this turn, or for this battle, then return 1 active 3-cost or lower to its owner's hand. So, fun fact, what we can do is Sugar, Vanderdecken, Overheat, Vanderdecken. So we can double dip into this Vanderdecken effect on the next turn with the Overheat and just continue to ruin our opponent's day while we're still getting swings in at their board, taking their resources, which is the name of the game for this deck. We finish off the deck with Slave Arrow. You may return 1 cost 2 or higher character, give up to one of your leaders or character plus 4,000. So with us running so many 2-costed characters, either you can block out with Rosinante, right? So now this is the new target for the attack. Slave Arrow, return Rosinante to hand, and reuse Rosinante. Same thing for Vanderdecken, as we could say with Overheat. We can use the Rosinante here to play out the Vanderdecken, KO a character, because this Rosinante can play Vanderdecken, and then return the Vanderdecken to hand and get a plus 4k counter on top. So this deck is crazy, bro. This is so much fun. The name of the game is just grinding out our opponents. We're here to take every card from their hand and never give them a resource out of life until we're ready to give them resources out of life. So we just take life aggressively with Hoodie Jones and just blocking out with our leader effect, then drop the 8-drop Kid. We're in a very safe spot because we have so many cards in hand and so many little chump bodies on the board, blockers, everything you need. Continue to take out their board with Vanderdecken and call it a day. Let's get to these games. This deck has been so much fun to play. Alright guys, we're starting in the middle of the match. We're a little late. I'll explain everything that's gone on so far in just a moment. Right here, we're going to search the top of the baby 5, put the useless kid on the top, and then we're going to play out another baby 5 just for next turn and pass. So basically all that's happened is we played out the baby 5 searcher early, searched on our first turn, countered out by blocking with our leader, and then rest the Viola. Let's go. And then we destroyed the Brulee, and then we searched the top of the deck again with baby 5, and then play out another baby 5. So that's going to be the deck so far. You know what we're doing. We are going to just block, resolve the attack, and take the life. Super simple here. We are just going to be the most annoying deck our opponent ever has to deal with, and that's the whole strategy of this deck. So we're going to be able to search the top 4 cards of the deck again. We're going to grab Rosinante. We're going to search the top of the deck again. We're going to grab a Sugar, just to have another one just in case. And then we're going to leave 2 active, possibly. See, the cool thing is you can technically just swing Sugar into Viola here, if we want to, just to see what our opponent does. We could also just swing like 2 into the Viola and try to pop the card and play out a 2 cost, or we could swing 1 into it, rest one of your Don, and then use the Rosinante. I'm down to use the Rosinante. Let's use it. This is that new Rosinante we were talking about, the Don Quixote Rosinante, and this is, again, not my 100% original build. We're going to swing 5 at our opponent. They are going to ramp a Don if they take this. They're going to go straight into 10, which is kind of scary. But it's one of those things, like, you're going to have to deal with it at some point, so might as well do it now. We're going to rest this, look at the top 5 cards, grabbing a Kami to play out, and then we're going to draw into a Vanderdecken. Vanderdecken's going to just pop any card on the board, and then we don't get a blocker, so we will have to lose a body on the board, but we have so many great cards on the board, I don't really care. Like, if you want to remove my board, that is fine with me. We can leave 2 up for the Overheat later on. They're on 10 already, which is crazy. But I think this matchup's going very well. We just started a little late, didn't know that I wasn't recording just yet. They play a 10-drop ace to gain a life. We're going to rest that down, and Vanderdecken's going to do its work. So we're going to let the Sugar go this time, not going to save it or anything. And now we're here, let's just clean up the board. Let's drop down Vanderdecken, discarding a chump blocker. Use the card action, discard the chump blocker, pop the ace. Nice and easy here. And then we're just going to continue to take resources from our opponent here. So what we're going to do is possibly actually put a good body on the board. So let's start at the top of the deck, grabbing another card into hand. We're going to grab another Rosinante. We do know 2 Vanderdeckens are at the bottom, but we're going to filter and find those. So that's going to be my primary goal here. We're going to grab another Rosinante. And we have a 10-card hand with a deck that cannot compete, cannot do anything to our hand size here. So what we're going to do here is, do we just play out the 4 cost at this point? I feel like we have to get some kind of body on the board, right? Let's swing in for 5 at our opponent. You know what? Let's not swing in. Let's play this game. Let's play this game. Let's not swing in, and let's just put an actual body on the board this time. Replace the Kami, choose no characters, and pass. Let's just choose not to swing in at our opponent. We have the blocker now active instead of swinging. We have 9 cards in hand, 3 life. We have a useless Captain Kid. This is the most miserable matchup I think our opponent can deal with. Now, they can double Katakuri here, which is going to be very annoying. But the fun thing is we do have a Sugar, so I guess it's not too bad. Or if the Sugar, or if anything of theirs does go sideways, we can easily pop it. So I think that's going to be good options later on with the Vanderdecken. They are going to use the Katakuri, be able to remove one of our bodies off the board. So even if we did have the Sugar, it would have just rested the Katakuri and not done anything. So it's kind of good we didn't have it in that situation because it would not do much for us. But it is what it is. We will have Sugar for next turn, 100%. They're going to put the Rosinante on the bottom of the deck so we don't continue to spam out bodies on the board. And we're okay with that. Now we're a 4-life leader again. So we can take a little aggressive here. We also do have the 8-drop useless Captain Kid. The Katakuri would have been great to remove that, but obviously that's not an option for what they're trying to do. So we know we're playing down Sugar. They're going to swing 7 into our baby 5. We're actually going to let this go, I think, at this point. I think we're okay with that because we need board space anyways. So we're going to tap. We're not going to be able to put the Sugar on the board if we do this. Let's swing in for 5 at our opponent and then 5 more at our opponent. Go ahead and whittle them down a little bit, especially because we are putting the 8-drop Kid on the board. They do have a 7-cost Sanji, But if we play down 8-drop Kid, we put 1 on him, we rest himself down, and then play out a Rosinante, we should be pretty safe there. We can also search the top of the deck and grab another sugar. We've already seen these cards, fun fact. We've literally seen these 2 slave arrows with the Kid and the Kami, so fun fact there. We're gonna just pass turn to our opponent. We don't have a ton of 2Ks, but we have a lot of counters still because we have a bunch of 1Ks. So if we need to get out of an attack, if they play the 7-drop Katakuri, or I mean the 7-drop Sanji here, they just rest down our ooh, they play down something to get rid of our Kid already. I kind of like that, actually. Good play by them, but running so many Katakuris is kind of weird. Usually you don't see that too much in these kind of matchups. They're going to swing 7 here. We're just going to let that go. Not using the option. We're going to hold the Don Quixote Rosinante on the board. They need to swing to this baby 5 for 7. We're okay with that as well. They want to swing us. We'll just take. Give me another sugar. Give me another one. Because we're going to Vanderdecken on this next turn. Drop the Jinbei. We're going to take again. We're looking for more options. We get a Kid. That's all we needed. Boom, bam, bop. So we're going to play down Kid. We're going to put 1 Dawn on him. He's going to rest himself and play out Vanderdecken. We're going to use Vanderdecken to trash Kami. No, we cannot trash Kami. We have to trash Jinbei. We're going to pop the Katakuri here, and then we could swing in for 5, but then we won't have a blocker. I don't think we need 2 blockers, because we're going to be able to search the top of the deck again. I don't think we need 2 blockers on the board. We could have done it just for funsies. They have 6 cards in hand. They have some kind of, nope, no trigger. That's good for us. We're going to search the top of the deck again, this time grabbing a Rosinante. We're going to put the Hoodie Jones on the top because we're going to try to find that again, and pass. I mean, this deck just, it's so annoying. It's so freaking annoying, man. Rosinante, just don't stop. I'm amped, bro. I'm amped. This is so much fun. We have 3 sugars. We have 2 Rosinante, 3 Rosinante blockers. Like, we found every piece in our deck we may need in the future, possibly. So we're kind of feeling good right now. They can go 8 and 8 and whatever, 8, 8, 8 into this, I guess. 8, 8, 9. They can go all the way. Yeah, we'll give you a 1K sugar here and call it a day. That's going to be cool with me. They can go 10K, and we'll let it go and use the card action, just trashing the Rosinante instead. And that's going to be cool with me. And then we can double Rosinante, leave our leader up, do all this fun stuff. They only have a 5K swing. We're going to let that go because I'm not worried about it. So we know we need to swing in for 9 at our opponent. We're going to do that first just to see if we're going for game or not. Because what we could do is technically play out 3 of these Rosinantes and leave our leader active to be very safe and just whittle cards out of our opponent's hand. And that would be very fun. So we can go triple Rosinante, and then search with baby 5, and then still have 2 Dawn to do something. We can leave 2 Dawn up for the overheat in case they play a little chump blocker or something. So 9 at our opponent. We don't even have to go for game here, which is the best part, and we're not going to. We're just trying to make sure they don't get too many cards in hand that we have to really worry about. So we're gonna Rosinante into Rosinante into, I wish we knew the stack of our deck right now. We could go Numal and then leave 2 up for the overheat. I think that's overkill. What we can do is just swing 8. Yeah, let's swing 8 at our opponent just to get more cards out of hand. We already have 2 blockers and we can lay down another one if need be. We don't need to add more cards to hand. Actually, no, we can play out the Rosinante, not adding cards, as that's going to force cards out of our opponent's hand. So we can play out the Rosinante to restand our leader, so now we would have 4 blockers on the board. We actually probably should have done the sugar just in case we could have rested down whatever they put out, but that's okay. 3 blockers on the board. We have our leader, 6 or less, not 7 or less. Well, goofed that one up, but we have 3 blockers on the board. I really don't think we're worried about it. I mean, we're sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7K counter. Tap down one of my Rosinantes, that's fine. This is literally just math lose here for our opponent, not a math win. So 8 into Kid, we'll give you a sugar. You can have 1. Now you can't have all of them. I do want to keep 1. I will keep the Kami as well just in case, so we're going to give them another, we'll give them a Rosinante. You did know we had the Rosinante, now they can go 9. Now they're going 8, 8, 8, 8. I'll give you a 1K. You can have that one, and then they can go 8 again. Let's just block for fun. No and no. Just let that one go. You can't even tell which one you're actually using when you do it. And then they're going to swing 5 into the Kid. That doesn't do anything. So you want to see something fun? Watch this. 5 at our opponent. This is going to be a guaranteed math win. I hope they can counter. They can. And 11 with Don Quixote Rosinante. GG's to our opponent there, man. That one was so much fun. It's literally impossible for them to get out of this. I don't think we saw a 10 Lin. Like, oh, they finally found a 10 Lin off the top of the deck. but it doesn't seem like a 10-lane strategy. That's very interesting. GG's to our opponent. We are on to the next one, bro. Rosinante is so ruthless, bro. All right, let's see how we do into an aggro matchup. I'm pretty sure Luffy wants second to have that extra Dawn to put on leader. I could be wrong. We're gonna take second either way, so we're gonna keep this hand and see what we can do with it. This is gonna be so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this one. We're just gonna take every card in their hand and do what we can with it. So we're actually gonna go we're gonna go Rosinante first, just because we want to be able to sugar on the next turn to get rid of their character. So we're gonna Rosinante to start. We'll be able to take life pretty aggressively here. Obviously we can't swing, but if we played on sugar and they played on a character for 3, which should be the Sanji, Nami, whatever, we can't rest down the Nami here. So that's the reason we did things in this kind of math order. It looks like they may not be playing anything at all on board, which I kind of like, actually. We're going to definitely blow this Nami out of the water. They're going to swing 8 at us. We're going to take, not worth doing anything with. Draw 2 cards, place 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck. No, I'd rather not. I'd actually rather keep this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think we have a pretty solid hand already. So what we can do is play sugar, go ahead and remove this body, basically say, hey, you got 0 value out of this, so sucks to suck, I guess. And then go ahead and search the top of the deck, looking for something with the Don Quixote Pirates type. We'll grab the baby 5. We need to stack this to the top. Slave arrows go to the bottom. Numal, maybe for the blocker. I don't think we're gonna need those 2 slave arrows anytime soon. And then pass. We have 6 or less cards, so we stand our leader as active. Automatically, it's a forced thing, so even if you forget, this does automatically happen, so there's nothing your opponent can do. Just keep that in mind, because you do have to stand this leader up. It says, if your hand is 5 or less, do this. We're gonna block and give them a... We're gonna give them a 2K here. I think I want to keep my baby 5s. So we'll give them a 2K here. I'm just gonna stay a little safe, keep my life up, do what I need to do. If they do play out a character, we obviously just rest it down with sugar, so that's gonna be very good because we have the Don Quixote Pirates type, which is why this card is just so much fun. I'm literally loving this card. I love the sugar so much. We're gonna go ahead and rest down Zoro. He will be able to play some kind of character, it looks like, because we are gonna be blasting this guy out of the water if we can. So, searching. Let's search the top of the deck first, see what we find. We actually don't find anything on this one, so we'll choose don't draw any. We're gonna put both of our boss monsters on the top. The rest of the order doesn't really matter. We're gonna put we're gonna put the 2K towards the top, the blockers towards the bottom, and we're gonna go searching again. So let's search the top of the deck again. We find a Rosinante this time, and then we're gonna put Vanderdeck into the top here. Kamey's not gonna do much in this situation. We're actually gonna put it down here to maybe see a Hody Jones later in case we draw the Kamey, just for a long-term kind of benefit. So what we could do is technically leave one up to return one of our 2 cost or higher characters, which I guess would be the sugar in case they try to pop the sugar. So we're gonna swing 7. This is gonna be real math here. This is real big brain stuff, okay? 7 into the Zoro. He does get to play a character from hand after this does get exploded, because it will. There's no reason he's going to save the Zoro, in my opinion. If he does, that's fine as well. We're going to get 2 cards out of hand, which is kind of our goal. And then even whenever this guy is gone, we're going to get 2 more cards. So we're going to pass there. Our leader's active, so now if he plays down a character, he's going to try to remove the sugar, correct? Then we tap 1 for Slave Arrow, and we just return the sugar to hand. So then it's like, you can't remove this. They play Gum Gum Mole Gun. Gum Gum Mole Gun cannot KO anything, so that's a complete misplay because we don't have a 6,000 power or higher character, and this guy's getting tilted. He go ahead and just pass the turn in the game. GG's. That one was easy. They did have this trigger out of life, though. Tell me that wouldn't have gone insane. 4K counter. They had a rush option, I guess, but we just tapped this guy. Whoa, chef's kiss. I'm loving it. Because fun thing we could have done is actually play down the sugar after he does play out the Zoro, use the Zoro effect to play out the Kid Killer, and then rest that down and swing something else into it in the future. Stuff like that. My God, this deck is so much fun. Purple Luffy. This is going to be a very difficult matchup for any deck right now, but ours especially. They choose to go first, of course. We go ahead and get this Rosinante here. We'll be playing on the next turn, then into Baby 5, then into hopefully Sugar Rested. Let's keep this hand and see what happens. We do have the Eustace Captain Kid, which is going to be very important in this, as long as you don't find a Gamma Knife, as long as they are running Gamma Knife, which they may not even be running Gamma Knife. I don't run Gamma Knife. I'm just like, hey, if you got Eustace Kid, I just lose. And I accept it, you know? It's one of those games that, like, I just am like, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So they're going to swing 5 into us. We will go ahead and take that first swing. They're going to put down a 6K, probably Bon Clay or possibly Zoro, more than likely Zoro. But Bon Clay is definitely not bad. But against a deck like this, I mean, I think taking your life is really good because we're just going to try to take all your resources. So this is a very bad matchup for Rosinante, to say the least. This is just a bad matchup for Rosinante. Our objective is just to take every card out of your hand until you just feel miserable and you just want to quit the game and never play again. And this is a deck that I will be bringing to locals for a local video as soon as we get these EB02 support cards, because this is going to be fun. And this is going to be fun. And it's going to feel so good just ruining people's day. Now, I will say it actually doesn't feel good ruining people's day, because I've done it before with Bello Betty into Buggy and like different decks like that into locals, you know, certain matchups, Toflamingo, whatever, where people are just like, scoop. You put your leader on the board, scoop. But hey, it is what it is. Purple Luffy, I need you to decide what you're doing here, buddy. I'm tired of people getting scared of this deck and not doing anything at all. It just shows you the power of the Rosinante. Blocker, leader, set this leader as active. People are scared. They're scared. All right, our opponent is back after 7 minutes of contemplating how to play a Zoro. He's finally back, grabbing a Luffy Taro from the top of the deck. If you don't know what Luffy Taro does, it plays out of 5 costs or lower when you go down -1. We're gonna go ahead and take this first swing. We get a Numal into hand, and we're gonna have a very strong board so far. So we're gonna go and rest 1 Dawn to search the top of the deck. We're gonna play out a 2 cost or lower character, which is going to be actually Don Quixote Rosinante as a primary target for our opponent to swing into. And then we're gonna play down a baby 5 here. We're going to rest the baby 5 to search the top of the deck and grab a Sugar. Sugar is going to be very good for our next turn, but what we can do here is actually keep Slave Arrow, so if he swings into any of these bodies that are 2 costs or higher, we just put them back in our hand. Literally just put it back in my hand, like, you are not taking this character from me. I'll just swing 5 into my opponent's face. We're going to go to save one of these characters, at least from the board, or we can sit here with a 4K counter if we need to. So it is what it is either way. If they just swing 6 into our Don Quixote Rosinante, we can just return this and then go +4 here, keep it alive, and keep the Rosinante. So a lot of fun options here. They give us a Kamazo out of hand. They should ramp up life here, is what I'm expecting. So what we're going to do here is, I think we just let Rosinante go, and then possibly save the other Rosinante. But if they go for baby 5, we just lose both bodies. We're going to let it go. We're just going to let it go. I think that's the best option. I think they should go for Rosinante here, not baby 5. So that's going to be kind of like a your choice kind of thing. Because we can just return Rosinante to hand. I think we can save the Slave Arrow. We definitely shouldn't have saved the Slave Arrow. We definitely shouldn't have slaved it, but we did. If they played a 7-drop Sanji, that would have been miserable, but they did not. So that's going to be very good. Not miserable. So we will take that. Vanderdeck in this? Nah, not good enough. Not good enough. So let's go ahead and rest 1 Dawn, see what we play out. We're going to go ahead and play out a Rosinante blocker again. That's going to be 2 of our Rosinante blockers. We're going to play down a Numal, a Sugar, and a Numal. Might be good. Just to have the bodies on the board, so if they play like a big 9-drop body, we just use the Sugar effect and get rid of it. I'm not against that. We could also Sugar and Hammond. We could Kami. We haven't seen a Hody Jones just yet. I bet if we Kami, we could have Hody Jones. Dang, that hurts. That feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. We're gonna set it up like that. We're gonna return it. We choose no options. All right, Hammond, Sugar, choose to rest out nothing. We're gonna swing 5 into our opponent's life. They should counter out pretty easily here. And we have a full board. We literally have a full board on 6 Dawn because we just mess around. Yeah, they're a bunch of 3, 1, 2, 2, 0, but hey, we average 2K power on board. That's gonna be 10K power we put down for 6 Dawn. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We're gonna just pass turn here, restand our leader as active. We do have a solid 4K counter in hand, but we have a blocker, we have a Sugar. So if we play something here, we can rest on Luffy Taro or Sangoro if we don't want them to draw, so we can kind of choose at our own leisure. And then we're going to use this Captain Kid very soon. On this next turn, actually. So, actually on 2 turns. So we just need to stay alive from till then. That's basically what we're doing, is just using our resources to continue to stay alive. Because we're getting so much value out of this Rosinante. They definitely need to do something about it soon. So, I definitely expect both of these characters to be, you know what I mean? So, just be ready for that. We are expecting them to just be out of there very soon. So, it is what it is, though. It's part of the game we play. We will be able to Vanderdeck on this next turn, dropping Numal, popping Luffy Taro or Sangoro, then swing heavy into Sangoro, or a 9-drop Luffy. If they play a 9-drop Rush Luffy or whatever they play, we just rest it down with Sugar, and then we should be good. Now, the only issue is if they play 9-drop Linlin and they get rid of Sugar, I don't think Sugar effect pops off because of its opponent's turn once per turn, so they are the first effect to go off, and then our effect is what goes next, and if this is not on the board, the effect does not go off, so we'll have to keep that in mind. If they do ramp up, they could double Luffy Toro here, which would be very, very bad. I would not like that at all. Not one bit, but as I said, this is a very difficult matchup for us, and a very easy deck for our opponent to play. They may still be learning, but they're taking a long term for every turn. This is not my kind of gameplay here. This is where I get tilted, is when people take so long to do their turn. Like, you literally, especially with a deck as simple as Purple Luffy, and no offense to the player, I'm just saying in a general sense that this isn't a competitive matchup. You are here to learn, but man, 4 minutes, 4 minutes of nothing is kind of miserable. Alright, our opponent's going to swing 7 at us. I think we're going to just take that aggressively. Not too stressed about it. We can keep our bodies on the board. That's cool with me. That is very cool with me. We're going to have to counter out of this one, though, for sure, because it's just a simple 6. And then we're going to have to take another one and then block. it seems like. So 6 into us, we will have to take this swing, and then we're going to block the next one. We do get another 8-drop useless Captain Kidd, and our opponent's going very aggressive into our face. We block out of this one, and we should be good here. Fun fact, we could have just blocked and then done our thing there. They're going to tap 5 here for useless Captain Kidd, it looks like, and then leave 1 up for Gum Gum Giant. At least that's just my opinion. Nope, they had 7. I can't math. So we're going to rest down the Luffy Taro. Another Vanderdecken off the top right now. We're about to draw it. Watch this. Bam. Hody Jones pretty good. It's not good as like it's not good enough for what we need. But what we're going to do here is actually start with tapping 1. We're going to search the top of the deck. We're going to play out a Get me Jinbei. Get me Jinbei, please. Rosinante, I guess. And then we're going to tap 2 for this. We're going to discard Numel to KO a Luffy Taro. And then we're going to blast our opponent's Sangoro for 8. And then we're just going to hope they can't get out of that. Which more than likely they can. As I said, double Luffy Taro is very miserable for this matchup. For us specifically, I mean, this deck is just really easy to pilot. And it's not easy to pilot, but it's really good against our decks. They take their own life. So we can't really control their board and make sure they aren't taking life and their resources. And we don't really have a way to race a purple deck except for Hody Jones. We did not find it early enough. So it's all just my opinion. We do have a blocker on the board at least, and a 4K counter, plus a 1K counter. And our leader's a blocker. That's cool, I guess. And we're hoping this is another Slave Arrow out of hand, and then we just bounce 2 of our characters, possibly the, we're gonna rest down Luffy Taro. That gets rid of 1 swing right there. They will get to draw 2 cards from these Sangoros, but that's okay with me. They do use Usohachi to rest down our blocker, which is not so good. Not so good indeed. We're gonna have to go and give them a 1K here. And then a 6 into us, we're going to have to, this is gonna be very interesting, but we're gonna take this first one to see what we get. And now we just lose, right? Because we use Slave Arrow, we return a character to hand, which is going to be a blocker. We should have actually returned the Vanderdecken long term if we were in a better position, but we're not. We resolve the attack, and then we lose to a 7. Oh, Rush Sanji. Mathematically there, just for our opponent, as again, I think they are new to the game, your better math is actually just going all out, because if I have a 2K, 1K here, you don't win the game, and I Hody Jones in this next turn, and beat your face in. Now, I don't win. I mean, you're in no way to lose. Like, 100% you're not in no way to lose. But swinging 11 there, well, now you are. Fun fact, all I need is 2 2Ks here and a Hody Jones, and I win, possibly. I mean, obviously, they have 6 cards in hand. It would be like 8 and 8. It wouldn't be great math, but still, it would be like a possible way in case they were bricked up. Now, obviously, they know they're not bricked up. They know that math possibly is 8 and 8, and they know 2 2 2 1 1. They'd be fine, but I'm trying to give all the ideas here for our opponent in case they watch this and they see this game in the future. Now, you have an amazing matchup already into Rosinante, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. All right, I think this is gonna be our last match of the day. We're going against Yamato. Yamato, we're gonna mulligan that hand right there just to see what we find. We do find the sugar. That's all I wanted out of the Rosinante, so we'll take what we get, and we won't pitch a fit. What we're going to do here is probably play down Rosinante so that we can play down Sugar next time and just get rid of Otama so they can't get any draw power. Pass the turn over to our opponent and see what they want to do here. If they swing very heavy into our face, we're just going to take aggressively and very aggressively. I'm not scared to take against Yamato. It's kind of my life, my goal, what I want to do. Now, only swinging 5. I want to keep both of these, though, I'm not going to lie. I think we'll give him a Kami. I actually don't think we need it because we already have the Hody Jones. That's the main thing we'd search out anyways. So we should be good to do so. Sugar, rest down Izo. We're gonna go and swing 5 into Izo. Just remove a body off the board so they can't really get into our Sugar if they do want to play a body. Now, more than likely they don't. They're more worried about swinging very heavy into our face. We'll go ahead and play down the Rosinante, and then Standard Leader is active. And I think we're gonna have a good matchup. Just based off the build I've seen so far, being a Wano country build, we should have a good matchup. Here. We're actually going to go and rest down Otama because Hiyori's going to pop itself, so we're fine to just rest down Otama. Now, if they use the 1 cost to draw 2, they can't because we get to rest down their character, right? So that's going to put us in a very good position in case they were going to play You Could Be My Samurai. Instead, they play Momonosuke to gain a life from adding a Wano-type character to the top or bottom of their life, which is going to be the Otama on the top of the life, which is a very, very good play right there. I'm not going to lie. Our opponent did a good job there, 100%. We're going to choose probably not to even give them that card back, though. Do keep that in mind, because I don't want you to have that. Now, they're going to swing 5 into us. I think we're going to take this, just to be able to draw 2 cards and then have no triggers. No triggers is perfectly fine with me. We have blockers on the board. We're going to go and rest this, look at the top of the deck, and see what we want to play out. So, we could do good things and get out of Vanderdecken, but that's not going to do anything. So, we're going to save the Vanderdecken for later. We're actually just going to put out a Sugar so that we can rest down the Momonosuke here. And then we're going to try to just swing into Momonosuke. Very, very good stuff right there. We could also play down another Don Quixote. Let's swing 2 into Sugar and then decide from there. 2 with sugar into Momonosuke. Yep, they let that go. Then we're gonna swing 6 in the face. No, then they would just take. We're here to burn their resources. I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to play down a. I think I'm gonna play down a Rosinante. Yeah, we're going for the Rosinante play and pass. So our leader's active. We don't have to swing our opponent here. They still have 5 life, which is really good for us. They do Hody Jones early, but fun fact, rest, rest, and we're good. So now you can swing 5 into whatever you want. That's fine. You can pop one of my sugars, but sugar is just so strong. I think you definitely should have swung the sugar there. We're gonna give him a Rosinante. We don't really need to spam out the board very much. And then we're gonna just probably, do we just blast this Hody Jones out of the water? Do we just blast it out of the water? What, 5 Dawn, swing 10 into Hody Jones, get 2 cards out of hand, or we can go 10 into Momonosuke to pop the blocker. Then we leave a 3 up for Slave Arrow and Overheat. But if we did the Don Quixote Rosinante and we actually hit something, but then we just lose a body on the board, that sounds miserable too, and then we lose a card in hand from Vanderdecken. But I don't like Hody Jones in this situation. We've already seen 2 2Ks from our opponent. We know they have a 2K because they did take a life from Hody Jones, so I think we just go 8 into Momonosuke. We are going to do Rosinante, but only if we hit a Vanderdecken. That's the only way we're going to use the Rosinante. If we hit anything else, we're just going to choose not to use the ability. Here, we're just trying to get cards out of hand, so even if we don't, we should be fine. So we're going to search the top of the deck. We don't find a Rosinante. We could go for a Kami here to search the top of the deck, or for a Vanderdecken, which I actually don't mind. Let's do it. Let's replace one of the Rosinante blockers. I know that may seem crazy, but that's perfectly fine with me. We're going to stack the deck like that, and then we're going to grab this Vanderdecken that we did just fine. We're going to tap 2 for the Vanderdecken, discard a Zayo. We're going to pop the Hody Jones there, and then we could have gone 10, I guess, now that we see that, to really control the board, but now we have 2 active, so we should be fine with this, honestly, because we have 2 active. We can use Overheat, we can use Slave Arrow, we can use whatever we need. We have counter, we have blockers, and we have Hody Jones. I love Hody Jones. Our opponent's got an interesting list here. I don't know how I feel about it. This is the Hodgepodge deck. We did Yamato just a couple days ago, so if you guys didn't see that video, you need to check it out, because that was a test my deck video where you guys get to let me test your decks in the Discord in a copy and paste format in the sim for you guys. Give you thoughts on your deck profiles you've been playing. So 9 Dawn. What does Yamato do for 9 Dawn? That we don't know, class. That we don't know. We have a blocker on the board. We definitely need to use this turn for the Yamato swing. We should have cashed in probably earlier on the blockers, honestly. And we're gonna sugar, arrest both their characters, who we don't mind actually popping these. And they play down a Momonosuke, adding Kikinojo to the top of their life. That's fine with me. We're actually gonna go ahead and cash in on the... I think we're gonna block him 1K. I don't know, because not having a blocker at all sounds kind of miserable. We're gonna block an Overheat. We're gonna go and just use the Overheat. We can't really return anything. We didn't think about that. We didn't think about that, now did we? Now did we? Alright, well, hey. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. We're gonna go ahead and we could Hody Jones, rest down both of these, swing into 1, clear out the board a little bit. Oh, this is about to be fun. We're gonna try this. We're gonna take that life. We're gonna swing 8 into the Momonosuke, trying to clear it out. Then we're gonna tap 2 for... We could also start with tapping 1 just to see if there's another option to replace Rosinante first. Let's see. Yep, we get a Vanderdecken off the top anyway, so we'll replace himself with the Vanderdecken, and then we'll use the card action. We're going to discard this to give him the Momonosuke back, and then, do we even swing 5 at them? I don't think so. I think we literally leave the 2 active and we do the same thing again. Yeah, that's going to be more fun. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is so much fun. Dude, this is so much fun. Oh my gosh. What you got for me? Let's keep doing this. Who can play this game longer? Who can play this game longer? This is going to be a long drawn-out match, man. This is going to be a long video as well, because this Rosinante deck is so much fun, but it's so grindy. They play down Yamato. They get to pop a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cost character. We're going to go and rest down the Yamato here. They're going to swing into us. We're going to play Overheat, and then return the Vanderdecken into hand. I really hope they hit me. Oh my gosh, they hit me. Block, Overheat, return. Wait, what? Oh, active. I was just trying to return the character. Well, whoops. It is what it is. We will do this, use the card action, drop this, pop this. Yeah, that was a very bad decision there. I'm not going to lie to you guys, because now we can't hit our opponent. We'll drop this, rest it, see what we can find. We don't find anything at all, and I think that's just going to be game because of that misplay. So, yeah, about that. Pass. That was literally just the stupidest misplay of my life. I just didn't read it. I got so excited earlier when it worked, and then that time it didn't because it was rested. I don't even know how I got rested. how did they even rest my Vanderdeck? And how did I rest my Vanderdeck? And I guess, I brought it out with the Don Quixote Rosinante, not thinking about how it's going to come out rested, and then you can't return it with that 2-cost event. So that's just my misplay. That was just my misplay there, 100%. That's on me. So we need to get a blocker of some sort. That's the goal here. We can Slave Arrow, which is kind of cool. We can return a 2-cost or higher character to the owner's hand, and they get plus 4,000 power. So we could block, and then Slave Arrow just to return Vanderdeck in case they play down a body. A body, yada, 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 yada. They draw for turn. This is going to be a very grindy matchup still. It's like still not over. That's the worst part, is like it feels like it's over, but it's really not. Like there's so much that can happen here. The misplay did take 3 cards out of our hand total, I'm pretty sure, because we did Vanderdeck and again, dropping the Numal, do all that stuff. We're going to go and rest down Momonosuke. You're not getting a search out of that, it looks like, which is fine with me. They're going to be able to tap down 9 here for a Yamato, popping a 5-cost lower character, or a Kiki Nojo. That's going to be pretty good right there. Pretty good. So we need a Hody Jones off the top. So now what we can do is block. This is a fun thing about Slave Arrow. You can block, Slave Arrow, return, resolve. And now we have the blocker for next turn. Very, very fun tech about Slave Arrow. Just adding your Rosinante back to hand so that you get another blocker next turn, and it saves us from a very, very hefty swing. So we're going to swing 2 into 0, see if our opponent's going to take that. They should take that. We're really looking for an 8-drop kid, but we can't just choose to find it, and of course we don't find what we need here either. We're going to grab a Rosinante, it looks like, because that's about all we can grab. We're going to play down a Numal to draw 2, and then place on deck bottom. We're going to put the Rosinante on the bottom. I'm trying to think of how we don't lose, because like we can't hit them. And the Vanderdecken on the bottom. We're going to tap 2 for Rosinante. Dude, we're just going to play the longest, grindiest game ever until we find those Hody Jones that just went to the bottom of our deck. Yeah, that's basically the plan right now. Because we can continue, like, hey, play this down, you rest down my character, but then my character pops off, so I rest down your Kiki Nojo. And then I still have a blocker out of this, so I'm pretty safe to say the least. They played on no Kiku, so we need that Hody Jones bad, or real bad, right off the top. But the odds of that are statistically very improbable. So they're going to swing 8 into, or I think we just have to let that go. As sad as it is, I think that's the best option here in this situation, because unless we get a Hody Jones off the top, yeah, we don't. We do not get a Hody Jones off the top. We're gonna swing 8 into Kiki Nojo. This is so much fun. Let them gain a life. We're going to Numal, draw 2, place 2 cards on the deck bottom, and then we just have to hope they don't get a trigger. That's all we got to hope for. Oh, they got a trigger. Pass to our opponent. There's really no way we win this. They have the ability to rest one of our blockers anyways when they do play down Okiku, or they top deck a Hody Jones and get to take top life. So GG's to our opponent. That was a fun one. My goodness. Yamato, if I didn't misplay there, I think we could have kept grinding out that matchup. That's the worst part. If I did not do that misplay, I think we could have grinded it out. I was super excited to test out this deck list, and it was so much fun. So thank you guys so much for watching Fishman Don Quixote Rosinante. It's built for the EB02 format. I mean, obviously, when you see the video from the guy who actually made the video, the big YouTuber, I would definitely say his video is a lot better because it's OP11 based. So definitely check out that video, which is linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the inspiration for the amazing video that he did make. Again, follow him right here. I really enjoyed this deck list, and Rosinante himself. Just being annoying is so much fun sometimes. Again, thanks for watching. Join the Discord. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.